Namaste, beautiful beings. This is Belinda Pearl, and welcome to the Daily Oracle. So we're getting ready for a Mercury retrograde. We've been in the pre-shadow period. I'm wondering if you've been noticing any kind of mercurial things going on. I've been definitely seeing since the shadow period some interesting little technological things. Always the shadow period always gives me the little indication of kind of what to expect when Mercury stations direct and then moves into his retrograde, and then also all the other planets are in retrograde, and Mercury goes retrograde in Cancer, and then we also have the new moon coming up in Cancer, and then we have the solar eclipse, and this is all happening at like 00 few minutes in Cancer as well as Cancer. There'll be a little bit of a conjunction through an orb, if you will, for one of the fixed stars. So there's also a lot of energy. With the solar eclipse too, there's going to be energy of what we want to eclipse out of our life as well. This thing about freedom and restrictions and where we are. Saturn's coming into this whole picture too, to move things through at our foundations as well. So let us see what is going on. Yesterday I wanted to share something where it's like life is so life serves us what we need. Let's put it at that. Life serves us everything that we need, but also serves us things what we need at the most unexpected times. And sometimes we like to hold on to things the way they are, and we are all realizing that holding things onto how they are is uncomfortable and it creates for discomfort in some way. So when things move, instead of us getting so attached to how they are or taking things personally, it's time to move on and see what the energy is. And I'm seeing this cycle of things moving on in a new direction. Also having this new idea, I wouldn't say it's really a new idea, but this feeling or sensation, like I've given myself permission to explore my path a little bit more and see what it is, instead of me being tied up in the things that I'm supposed to do in a certain way because society says do it that way. And I struggle with that a lot because my Aquarian nature has this instinct to do things like off the beaten path and make my own path. And then also how my birth chart is set up, it's definitely me going through the jungle, hacking through the jungle, making a new path and exploring things, especially on a spiritual level. And so this has become a very, I wouldn't say big interest, but it's definitely where my focus is the spirituality of ourselves and what that really means and how we can move more into that place to be more balanced humans. And I have a good friend from Nepal, and he reminds me that Buddha always said suffering comes when we attach to either way of the path. We need to find that middle way, and then opening up to spirit more so in that idea and saying, okay, spirit, so I need to find the middle way. I need to be grounded and rooted, but also continue to connect with spirit in a way so I can walk that middle path and not feel the challenges of this life or this earth walk as much, because it's essential for us to discover the balance. And balance is a theme that came up earlier on as well for me, to discover that inner balance. What does that mean for you, and what does that mean for me too? So we're asked to eclipse things in our life. We're asked to pause as well. This is a sacred pause. It's time for us for inner reflection. There's new things that want to come through and being birthed. We may be seeing some of these new sparks of light. For all of us, they're all going to arrive at different times. There's a maturity to each cycle. We saw that yesterday with that crone card. There's a maturity to cycles, so the manifestation needs to come from a place deep within. It is asking us to connect to our ancestral lineage, to the wise wisdom that is already imprinted within us, within our DNA, within the cells of our body, within the spectrum of our being and our soul. As well as though it takes a cycle. So we're in this balsamic part of the moon, so it's really coming back into figuring out what we don't want so we can start anew. So let us figure out what we don't want and start anew. And so this means that the solar eclipse is going to be powerful, and it is a partial eclipse too. So close your eyes, listen to your breath. Everything I've said, just forget about all of that and just connect to the sensation of your breathing. Feel how your breath feels in your body. Delightful, I hope. Yeah, enjoy that. And so as you breathe into the space, let's be clear and calm so we can really find that place of guidance within all of us. So as this card is revealed, this oracle is revealed, as these words are transmitted, that you will find the right resonance for you, the right thing that you need for your life right now in this moment. So take another deep breath in. Breathe all the breath out. Let us see what guidance has for us today. And there's a lot of this going on, actually. I can tell you a story, many stories. There's always, every day is filled with stories. But I just did a Yoga Nidra, and the card that came out for the Yoga Nidra was very much in alignment with this card. I'll show you this card. It says, it's got a 12 on here, and it says reach out, but the color spectrum is the same too. I've also had this, I may have shared this with you before. This thing, I call it the sonic boom. So if you know me, you've probably heard my story about the sonic boom and what this means. But this reminds me of it too. And before I did my Yoga Nidra and my sound healing today, I got this message about connecting to source again. And then I saw this vision again of the sonic boom, which is earth enveloped in this loving light that literally shifts consciousness. Because how do you go and you tell people to stop doing this or that when they're about to harm something or steal something, whatever it is, when they're not acting in their true highest self? But how do we change consciousness when somebody says that global warming doesn't exist, but we know that it does? Things are happening. The earth is showing that something is happening too. But it's a shift in consciousness. So how do we get people into this idea that we're all one, we're all connected to earth? Earth is an entity in herself. She's not just this land for us to pillage, but this land for us to work with and to unify with, and how we can come into that space of uniting our consciousness, as well as uniting our consciousness with this earth and with our solar system. And there's a whole lot more to that whole story too. But it says reach out. And this other guidance that came in just before I was about to start all my things this afternoon was about connecting to source. But through this Mahatma energy, a soul energy, this connection that really connects us to source. We come from a soul group, and how we are so connected to this place of our soul and our spirit, and how we all come together at one point, and then we move all into spirit, into soul. And this even reminds me of this place where the words are kind of jumping out of my head, but it's this like spectrum where we all move through and we go back to source. So we could call it a portal, but it's got actually another specific name. But it's all soul groups that merge together, and then we move back into source, become into that place of oneness. So even though we masculine and feminine, the masculine and feminine all become that one thing, which is this. And so it says reach out, and she's handing to us, she's asking us to reach out. So us here on this planet, you, me, if there's any way to do is to reach out to source. That is at least the guidance that wants to come through today. Reach out to source. It says on here too, it says, I reach out my hand and my heart to connect to you and all of humanity. And it feels like source is actually talking through this card. There's this beingness. Like I always ask people, well then how was everything created? How was this universe created? You know, think about that for a moment. Doesn't matter what you believe in, but there was this divine spark that brought everything into being. And maybe this divine spark is asking us to become a little bit more conscious, especially here in the field of humanity on this planet realm too. So let us, maybe if it feels comfortable to you, because I know it feels comfortable to me, to reach out to source and ask source to come in. And something's coming in too, because the synchronicity of the events from Monday to now, it's just amazing to me. Sometimes I have these conversations with God, and I ask God, you know, really, like, am I on the right path? Is this supposed to be doing all this thing? I'm supposed to be throwing everything that I thought that I was supposed to do out the window and just moving to this place of connection to spirit and soul and to source. And then these things show up. Like today I had these beautiful blessings that showed up just like instantaneously. I had no idea just before I was about to do something where I was like, wasn't sure I was supposed to do it because I wasn't sure if anyone was going to sign up for it. And then out of the blue, all these people signed up out of it. And it was amazing because the people that signed up for it were people that are so close to my heart. And it just shows me, to me at least, indicates that this is source speaking directly to me, saying, trust your path. So this is you, trust your path, the way that you're going. And if you feel that you need guidance, reach out to source, ask source to guide you, because source is always there, never separate from us. This is the Garden of Eden. So let us live in Eden. Let us live in peace. Let us live in love. So reach out to source and ask source, invite source into your life, into your heart, and be the divine expression in the world. So from my heart to yours, may you always be blessed. Namaste. And again, this is Belinda Pearl. You can always find me at belindapearl.com. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Namaste.